Hello, I'm Robin and welcome to Molten Music Technology / Molten Modular, Molten whatever you like really. Today we're looking at something that crosses the boundaries between synthesizers and modular, hardware boxes, laptops, all sorts of bits and pieces. And that is the very important foundation upon which we build our entire desktop studio. What am I talking about? I'm talking about stands. Flipping stands. I've got all sorts of stands all over the place. But there's one particular brand of stands that I have used a huge amount over the last, I don't know, so many years. And it's stuck with me. It's stayed about. I continue to use them. And in fact, everything here, just completely randomly, is that one brand of stand. Everything is sitting on it. Everything. And what is that stand? That stand is called Loci or Loci. You know, I never really thought about it. I'm going to go with Loci with a C. It's this right. Loci, this Loci. Oh God, why can't I ever work out how things are pronounced? It's this textual world that we have before us. You never actually hear anyone talking about any of these things. But by the by, we're going to go with it. We know what it is and we're going to get stuck in. So anyway, recently Steve from Loci got in touch and said, hey, we've got a whole new range of stands coming out, an evolution, a version 2.0 of what they're doing, and would I like to try them out? Of course I would, because I use them all the bleeding time. If I was to throw out the one reason why I keep using them is because they flat pack brilliantly. So you can very easily take it apart, put it in a bag and take it with you so you can then set up somewhere else. The other thing is that they're so extraordinarily versatile. You can set it up into anything. I mean, this sort of stand, right? This sort of stand, these are great. These are brilliant. They're solid, you know, dependable. They're one thing. You sit something on it and it's going to stay there. That's brilliant. Nothing wrong with these stands at all. However, with the Loci stands, I can do something like this. I can tear it up because they are all made with interesting and fascinating slots and bits, so you can completely and entirely configure your own stand to match your gear. I mean, up to about 3 different tiers I think you can do it, but really is entirely up to you, provided you can get the balance right and not have it all fall down about your ears. So what I thought I would do is I would replace what I've currently got here with the new version as a way of showing how easy or hard it is to put it all together. So all right, let's start by taking apart the other stuff. So, I mean, everything is just all kind of wired in here. So I haven't thought about this. I'm just going to do it on the fly, as you'll hear. So here, for instance, is the old style now Legacy type of stand. These sort of wedge shaped things, but it's all of these slots that make it totally fascinating and adaptable and versatile. It can be wider, it can be narrower, you can stack 2 together, you can stick something on the back, as I'll show you on this other one over there, and then it all just comes apart. Pop, pop, pop. Like this. I can't do it. Like this. There we go. And before you know it, it's fallen on the floor and it's slipped into your bag, so you can take it to your gig and you're off. Fantastic. Yeah. Now, there's no reason why I can't continue to use these. I'm only really upgrading my area with something a little bit new and a little bit special. So these, I'm just going to put to one side and I'll use them for other things. I might even integrate them into what the new stuff is. I don't know yet. Let's get that a little bit more out of the way. So up here, I've got, oh my goodness, modules falling out. I should be more careful. Should definitely be more careful. Let's just okay, that's better. So I set up a higher tier here. I've got like one of them sat inside another one. It's not entirely built how the instructions would tell you to do it, but that's the point. You can do whatever the heck you like because it's extraordinarily versatile. And if it's working, then use that. So I can get this out of the way without dropping it. Okay, good. And then this is also on a thing. So this thing here. I totally made this configuration up myself. I thought that was just completely brilliant. Look at that. What a monster. Just fantastic. So you can absolutely build whatever you like. It's fantastic. Now there's always been one snag, literally a snag. And that is that things snag here. Snag on these bits. So as you put it down, you get cables and stuff trapped underneath it, which then seem like they're free, and then you pull on them and they're pulling on this. It is the one thing that just slightly gets in the way. I mean, ultimately, the versatility, which is what this is giving you, is awesome. And so in some ways you're prepared to put up with just a little bit of snagging. I'm just saying that it's not that it's not inconsequential. It is a thing, it is there, but I believe that the advantage of these stands far outweighs that a little bit of annoying snagging from time to time, you know? So with that all out of the way, let's see if we can make some kind of sense of what we've got, put these new stands together, and then use them. For this, I think I might need the laptop. Now, Steve sent me something which is not on the website, which is this. You know, he very kindly inscribed me on the side there, which is very nice. This, I think, is probably a laptop holder, but it's not something that's on the website at the moment. But I reckon if I put that down there and get my laptop, of course I've got an annoying Surface laptop, so that's a little bit different, that would sit on there. I think that's probably what that would be. And if you had a regular laptop, it would sit like that, yeah? Thank you, Mr. Cockrell. I think that's what that's about. But I'm not going to focus on this one because I don't think it's particularly a generally available product. But thanks very much for that. That's going to be useful. Put that to one side and get stuck into the bits and pieces that are actually available. But I'm going to need to look at this, so bear with me a second while I sort all this nonsense out. Right, I've cleared a little bit of space. I've got the website here. I've got all these packets of things that I've never seen before, so I think first of all I should probably open all of these. I mean, what the version 2 brings, I think in a nutshell, is a little bit more stability, a little bit more grip, and that's what these are all about. So let's have a poke. So I've got these little things called girders. See those girders? Put them up under here, look. And these are end clips. Rather than using a piece of wood now, you've got these clips that go on the end to stop your gear falling off. That's quite interesting. I have some concerns about those, but I'm not going to go into that quite yet. So I've got, I mean, Steve sent me a whole load of stuff. So I've got quite a few of these, I feel. But it's going to be interesting to see how it goes together. Okay, these bits here, I think they attach. Anyway, we're going to find all this out. We're going to find all this out as we go. That's what makes it exciting. Right, got a load more of those. I think they go. Do they go over the girders? Anyway, I've got this video in front of me which is rotating round, which is on their website, which kind of gives you an idea of how it all goes together. Okay, girders and clips. Great. All right. So that's what this is about. So let's get a couple of the bits together. If I go for the larger bits to start with, look at these. I mean, they were all in the much lighter coloured wood. That's rather gorgeous. Before, whereas now we've got something a little bit deeper, which is very, very pleasing, I have to say. So what I'm looking to do is to work out how I can use this to put a piece of gear on it. So normally speaking, you'd have, or previously rather, you'd have a piece of wood that goes between the two. That, I believe, is still the case, but all the pieces of wood are much smaller. They're now this size, rather than the big wide ones, which I think is giving you an opportunity to be more versatile with how things are. Because there was one issue when I was trying to do a review of the Seashell, the Instruo Seashell. I couldn't actually make a stand small enough to cope with it, which seems weird, but now I believe you can with this. So anyway, what we do, so I've got these two bits here that I want to use as the bit that goes in between these so it can stand up. So what I'm seeing on the video here is that I need to connect those two together with a girder. It's going to go in like that and like that. And then, I mean, that's pretty good. But then you've got this clip that goes over the top also in order to give it extra stability. Like that. Well, that's rock solid, I have to say. So that can now form the basis of how I put this together. Now there's various ways you can do it. You can connect them. I mean, I'm making this up obviously as I go. I'm saying things before I've actually tried it. So you can go in sort of from the top like that. Don't get this right way round. 1, 2, 3. And have it work like that. Are you getting me? But it doesn't have to be like that. You can put this support somewhere else. So for instance, it has a slot both here and there. So I could put it at the front, push that in. And there. And now this cross bit isn't getting in the way here at all. However, you might want the cross bit here if your device isn't necessarily fitting the exact width of what's going on. Because again, it's versatile. You set it up however the heck you want. So now I've got that. It's already pretty sturdy. It could already carry something, but I'm going to have things slipping off the edge. So for the slipping off the edge bit, I need these white ones, which are going to go in there. Right way around like that. That's good. Now they've also added another thing, which is these, which is kind of which are these, which are kind of grippy things. These also, I mean, it's just brilliant how he's designed these just to fit straight in to all the slots that already exist. So you can put that in order to hold the gear so that doesn't slip and slide around quite so much, but you can also use it for the feet so that it doesn't slip on your desk so much. And that's definitely a thing. If I can push these in here, everything is very snug, I would say. But then you're not likely to take these bits out. Very snug. So that, I think, put these in the middle. Perfect, put them in the middle. That is pretty solid. Now I could very easily put another strut in, put one at the back here or in the back corner here in order to give it more rigidity, or across like they have done on the video. And now onto here I could stick all sorts of things. So for instance, a nice big fat drum machine. Look at that. Look at that. Flipping awesome that is. Sits there beautifully, doesn't go anywhere. It's completely, almost entirely wobble free, although it's mostly my desk that's wobbling as much as anything else. But look at that. Lovely. It's not going anywhere, it's not moving, it's not doing anything other than being a stand, which is what you are after. That's what you're after. So brilliant. Let's see if I can make it more elaborate. So first of all, I'll put in another piece to make it a little bit more rigid. Oh, that's an interesting one. That's slightly different. Okay. So otherwise, that's going to make another one of these girders. If I put this across here, it will give it rigidity and also something else for the synth to grab hold upon. There we go. That's rock solid now. Really nice. So, how do I do another tier? The instructions on the website are excellent. So I've done essentially the basic assembly, and now I want to do something more to it. Okay. I think I've got the double. I think that's what I've got. So this as a stand is completely fine by itself. I can add another bit, as I say, in any old way that I like. For instance, I could stick a bit on there, connect that up with a girder, put an end on it, and then I've got another bit. But the other part of the kit that I've got is the double too, by the looks of things. So let's give that a whirl. So with that, I'm starting off with these bits. Like so. I need two of those, two bottom tiers. Yes, it's definitely what I've got. Two bottom tiers. And the strange weird bits here. So funnily enough, what I want to do, fully assembled, single tier separate stand. No, I want it fully all slapped together. Let's try that. So these are the bottom, 6 ledges, 3 extenders. Oh, an extender would make it wider. So how wide do I want it? I want this to be sort of for my smaller cases. So do I want it to be 2 wide? Probably. Do I want it to be 3 wide? I don't think so. I don't think I want it to be that deep, although it can be obviously. So I'm going to stick one of these together. See, this has given me a starting point. So this is going on the floor like this way up. So this, in order to use it, I'm going to have to put something across the front, I think, here. Is that going to be the best way? Quite possibly. There. And here. I mean, in some ways you don't actually know what you need until you've kind of made it and know where it is you need to put the stability. But I'm going to put that there as a starting point, because onto here we are then going to put these bits like one way or another. That way, that way. See, that's pretty smart. I like that. Oh, I like the way that fits. So I'm going to put in 3 girders. Like so. Into that fits this. Oh, it goes together really nice. Then I can secure it with these, with the orange bits. Not all of them fit exactly, I have to say. Some of them are slightly just too tight, but yeah, with a little bit of persuasion, I'm sure they'll go in. Yeah, yeah. Trying to do it so you can see in the camera. All right, see that on there? Cool. It's looking amazing. Loving it, loving it, loving it. What we'll do here, put the other side on. 1, 2, 3. Like so. It's very, very neat. Very neat. Now I've just got to squidge these in. Oh, see, that one's gone in easy. That's not too bad. Oh yeah, got the hang of this one then. Great, so that's 2 great big wangy bits on. I'm going to put some feet here. before it gets too unwieldy. Alright, so you're seeing now that this is very much going to be one tier. I could put on a couple of the end bits here, and we can see how we're doing so far. So if I grab a nice little bit of modular, stick that there, look how beautiful that is. Just look at that. It's just brilliantly up in the air, you know, above my desk. This is totally what I want in live performance, because the desk is often too small. So that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Great. I'm sorry, you know, one gets overexcited about simple things like stands when they are beautiful pieces of furniture that are ultimately going to be enhancing the way in which you approach what you're doing. That's lovely. So I've got another tier to put on, which is going to go on somehow, crikey, like that. Nice. Let's do that then. So 2 of the girders. And then they go on like that. Now I'm feeling that I might need a little bit more support in the middle there somewhere. So in which case I can put together another one of these. That could probably fit in there, I'm thinking, or actually it could possibly fit at the back, just so it's not in the way or sticking up of anything. Oh, I can stick that there. Yeah, that's feeling really good. Feeling really good there. Nice. What do I do with this? I need to put clips on. That's better. There's 2 there. So solid. It's quite extraordinary. Good. Let's put some lips on. I can also put some things here to protect the gear, so it sits on a little bit of cushion, a little bit of grip. I think I like that. Now this angle at the top here is a little bit of a worry. A little bit of a worry, but we're going to see how that goes. Also, it's a bit wangy at the top, so am I going to put another one in? Quite possibly. I mean, it comes with 6 ledges, 1, 2, 3, 4, so I've got room for another 2. And I think put it up here. Like so. So I have this fantastic shot from above. This 2-tier system going on. Is that flat on the ground or what's in the way? Nothing. That's good. So I can put this, for instance, this chunky one here. Is that going to fit? Not necessarily. Oh, it might. Yeah, it does. That's quite nice. The fact that there's a cutout here has enabled me to put this piece of gear in and still have it fit. That's really nice. And let's put this one back on top. And that's amazing. This enormous tower of modular. How fantastic is that? And that's just sitting up at a really great pair of angles. Now this doesn't feel entirely secure because of the angle is quite is quite steep. So is that exactly what I want? I don't know. Maybe. Is it too much? I don't know. It just depends on where your weight is and what that's going to do. I mean, I could always elastic band it around the top. Who knows? Because you can have things at extraordinary angles. It just depends on what's working for you, really, and how much struggle everything needs to take. You know, that's pretty good. It does have some movement. It really does depend on what you're doing and how you're doing it. But that is the double 2, I believe. It could also break down into 3 individual stands. This is just one particular configuration. So let me put a couple of other bits on here. So this is one of the situations where it's just too wide. So that's not going to work for that one. So I would have to make it smaller. I could do a smaller thing. What else have I got? If I was to do something smaller like that, I could just use a single one of these, do it half the size, and see whether that would perhaps be a better use. Something quite small. Give us a minute, I will try that out. Okay, in order to make it smaller, of course, I just use a different width of the whatever it is these bits are called. What are they called? Sills? Ledges. So if I take these 3 off, and make them smaller. If I'm going to go for the seashell, I want to go for super small. So the small as I can make it. Let's see what that looks like. Like so. Where am I? Here. Now that looks slightly crazy, I have to say. Let's go with it. Let's go with it. Put that in there. And then put this up here. So this I can use my horror synth down here without any bother. And I've got the seashell rather nicely and neatly at the top, which you could not do with the previous version. I'm pretty sure there was just no way I could find. I mean, I in the end I managed to cobble something together, but it wasn't entirely right. Whereas this, that's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. There is a rock to it. I'm not going to pretend that there isn't, but I'm also sitting on a little cork mat, which is not helping. But you know, it depends on what you're doing. I mean, one of the things you can do with the larger one is reverse and put a smaller one on the back to give it extra stability going forwards and backwards. But what are you doing that's going to be doing this is the question. Perhaps you need to reassess how you use your gear. But that's a little bit of an extreme example, but just to show you how all of these things could be. I mean, for instance, this section is an entire stand by itself. You could just take that off and reverse it, and it is. And it is. I mean, let me do that. I mean, how easy is it actually to take apart? Because it is still very flat packable. All of these bits come off, so I can just take these 2 sides with me. But how easy is it to take these off now that it's all put together with the girders? Good question. Let's have a look. How do I feel? Do I need to push at it with my fingers, with my nails? Maybe if I use another girder, I can just push those out. Yeah. See, that was not hard at all. I had a little bit of a worry there for a minute, wondering how on earth do I get that apart without breaking a nail, you know. Don't want to break a nail. Come on, come on! There we go. So I can pull that out of there. And this one, this way up, if I readjust, or it could be either way up, could be this way up, that way up. I'm going to take these off here, put it like that. see, that's a nice little stand. That's a nice little stand. Perfect. Could have done with that. Absolutely. And I definitely have room here to stick something else on if I'd feel so inclined. Put something up there. It's endless versatility is what it is. Now there's a way of adding something to the larger one. I think I might try that out while I'm here. In fact, why don't I do that with, because they sent me both colours, if I use the other colour so that I can keep what I've got, doing what I've got. So yeah, it's a triple stand. Definitely going to have to do that, I think. So with the triple stand, I need these two bits. So I'm going to have to make, just bear with me while I make a couple of the cross bits very quickly. So to do the super wide thing, what you do is you take the extender, put that in between. Like so. Right, it's one of those. Two, I bet I'm going to need three. Okay, so let's get this in here as wide as it could possibly be. Nice. Let's put some feet on it. So from here, I need the bits that dropped on the floor. If I got this round the right way, yeah, kinda. Yeah, that one's slightly smaller. I wonder if that's an issue. It doesn't have a lock on it. Those ones do. So I either go there. That's not as deep. How is that going to work? Is it going to work? I think that is. Oh, it is. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, put those in there. That's amazing. Do the same over here. Let's see if I can get those stuck in. Alright, so I need some kind of something to keep it a little bit more rigid. Maybe all the way across here, maybe across the back. Don't know, let's try that. See how that feels. Feels pretty good, feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. And then the final tier. Just using these up here. It's massive! Oop. And another brace, I think maybe at the back. Like so. I mean, undoubtedly, with this sort of height, there's a certain amount of movement going on. I think that's kind of inevitable. Let's see if I can give this the most stable platform I can, and then work out what on earth can I put on it that's going to be this chunky. Okay, that goes on there nicely. Put my bit of modular here, which I know already sort of worked before. So, like that. Can you see all that? That's pretty epic. Look at the state of that. Goodness gracious me. Now, you know, as I've talked about the wobble, yeah, there can be a bit of wobble. I can put in more struts, which are going to make that a little bit more secure. Definitely. I could go between struts as well in order to sort that out a little bit. But also, you know, to move knobs and to turn stuff, it's fine. Also depends on the weight of your gear that you're adding to it. I don't think there's any particular problem there. But this is at its widest, at its most expansive. So if I take that down without the extender to be sort of this sort of size, again, it's going to improve the overall rigidity, I would say. But again, that's amazing. That's three tiers. Is that something I can use? I could definitely, I think if I take it down, if I lose the extender, take it down one, that's going to sit there brilliantly and going to be awesome nearly all the time. So I think I might do that. I think I might do that, definitely. So there you have it. There you have it, I think. The Loci ultimately versatile, extraordinary, sort of Jenga-like, puzzle-like equipment stands. You can have it in whatever configuration you could possibly imagine. This on here, this up on here, this then doing that with the thing. Got 2 stands over here, 3 stands was a little bit, 3 tiers rather, was a little bit tall for over here, so 2 tiers, perfect, bringing that together. The improvements I think over the first version are interesting. I think in the first version you had to use these things here as the end stoppers, which were good and worked, but sometimes they would just stick up and stick out a little bit too much. Now using these little white clips here makes that a whole lot neater, although they're also not very tall. And I know somewhere I have a few bits of gear that have quite beveled edges at the front that sort of sit up. Laptops often are a little bit like that, and I wonder whether this is tall enough to cope with that entirely. I don't know, it's just worth a thought. But then you could add, you know, something like this across it that doesn't go all the way down, that would help with that sort of thing. The fact that the original version had a lot more slots in it, which I suppose perhaps made it more versatile, does it? Or perhaps made it more prone to snagging cables and getting snarled up on stuff. Whereas this is a lot neater in that regard. And there tends to be less of them along the bottom, and you're also going to be filling them with these sorts of rubberized feet, which is very good. It stops the slip and the slide. Those are particularly great. Everything fits together very, very tightly. A little bit too tightly, Matt. I think I've worked up a bit of a sweat putting everything together. So, I mean, that's probably good because it's not going to come apart, but it does make building it and unbuilding it a little bit of work. But that's okay. I'm going to, I think, put a little bit of thought into exactly how I'm going to want to configure this for my bits of gear. There were bits that really work and other bits that perhaps are not at the angle that I want, but you just turn it the other way or this way up or that way up and you discover the angles that you want to use. That is the awesome versatility in all of this. I should also point out that I don't have everything. There are lots of different configurations you can buy from the website that have extra things that I haven't been able to show. I believe that I've got the double 2 and I've got the basic, which I've been able to also put together into the triple, because that's how configurable these things are. There's an expander version that lets you extend out in different ways. There's a mini version that's got just a mini one that can also supplement the larger one to give it more stability. There's an XL which puts extra long big wangy bits on it. There's a dinky one which is a sort of a smaller halfway house between the two, so you just get the sort of things that you want and you can build upon it, buy extra bits in order to expand the range and the versatility and the possibilities that you've got under your fingertips. So do go and check out the website, check out exactly what they've got, because I've only shown the double 2 and the basic here. I really like that. I really like that in particular, this strangely shaped one, because this sort of height, this level, this angle is brilliant at a gig. Totally fantastic. And if I could have 2 of those with 2 things going, 2 cases, would be extraordinary. I guess one thing that people think about is the overall strength. What could it carry? I mean, the old version, I'd have no problem putting a full Eurorack 7U case on it. No problem. Absolutely solid. Is there movement? Yes. And there's movement on all sorts of stands that you use, including the desk, and the earth moves beneath your feet. But it's absolutely, completely confident that it will carry such a thing. I don't see anything different. With the version 2, it can do a similar job. You've just got to use your common sense a little bit about what it is that you're putting up at a ridiculous angle here and how that's going to work together. But provided that you're not an idiot, I think it's all going to be completely structurally sound. It's brilliant stuff. You know, it's nicely put together. It's nicely made. They're not massively expensive. It's a great solution when you're not entirely sure exactly how to stack stuff. And other stands, metal stands, can be really expensive in trying to come up with a solution for that. The fact that you can have 2 or 3 tiers on your desktop is extraordinary. And then you can break that down and turn it into just a row of 3 or some such. You know, totally brilliant. I really like it. Can you tell? I really like it. I think it works very well. Also, as I say, for gigging, you can just take out the struts and it all goes flat and slides into your bag without any bother. It's not heavy. You're not dragging around a great big pieces of metal or anything. Yeah, it is great. I like the improvements on the original, but the originals are still going to knock around. I'm still going to be using those aplenty because I'm always in need of a stand. So there you go, the Loci 2.0. I hope that was useful, and in the meantime, go make some tunes.